All right, so I just want to speak on creativity from my perspective. The way that I create is solely based off of inspiration, for one. For two, I just want to convey a certain type of feeling. Like whatever I create, I want it to invoke a certain feeling. That's one of the main goals for me. It's the same thing when you listen to music or you watch something. You don't just want to feel empty. You want to get a certain feeling from whatever you're either watching or listening to. And that's one of the main things that I search for. Like if something feels empty to me or I don't get a certain feeling from it, I just can't indulge in it. This is why I can only watch and listen to certain things. Because most of this stuff out here, it lacks that feeling within it. This is why I have no problem with finding people who ain't discovered yet. Like, I don't even care if you're discovered. I don't care if you got 1 million followers or none of that. The only thing I'm searching for is that feeling with whatever content that you're bringing, whether it's something visual or whether it's music. If I get a certain feeling from it, that's all I'm looking for. Yeah, it was good. He said, "What's the topic?" Just saw this pop up. I'm just talking about creativity and just the feelings that you get from this, from just like either creating something or whether you're listening to certain music or watching like a certain video or movie. But yeah, that's the main thing that I search for. Like, does this give me a certain feeling? Does this put me in like a trance to where it's just like a vibe? And that stuff is hard to find nowadays, so I really be searching for it. Not even like I'm actively searching for it, but if I find it, then that's what I'm gonna just indulge in. If I find something that brings that feeling. This is why I said in the last live stream, if you're a creator, just start creating stuff. It don't matter about the views or none of that. He said, I need meditation music or nostalgic entertainment to put me in a trance. Yeah, facts. Me too. But yeah, like I mentioned before, if you create anything, whether it's art, whether it's something visual or music, just put it out. Like, I don't know if it's a lot of people, but I can say for myself, I'm searching for that type of stuff. I'm searching for something that's just not one dimensional, that's just not soulless. I don't care about the quality. Of course, I care about the quality, but what I mean by that is I don't care if you have expensive equipment, because a lot of people think that way. People think that they need all this equipment just to create. As long as you're creating from the heart, you're putting your passion into it, it's invoking a certain feeling. That's really all that matters. But we definitely need more. We definitely need more creators with substance. Because a lot of this stuff out here is either played out, is diluted, and it lacks any type of emotion or feeling within it. And some of the people that do, he said, even though I'm an adult, I like to draw things in color. If the coloring part is, he said the coloring part is satisfying. Yeah, I like to create music. That was always one of my passions growing up. At first, it was just listening to music. That's what made me even want to start creating. Because the certain feeling that I would get listening to music just growing up. I always loved music. And nowadays, it's just so tough to find that. It's so tough to find some type of content that's captivating in any way. And with me growing up listening to music, it gave me that feeling of like, of course, nostalgia, but it was like euphoric, a certain type of adrenaline rush. Like it's something that I could never grow up explaining because I was too young to even explain something like that. I still get the same feeling till this day with certain music. Like it takes you it's out of this reality. Like that should just be crazy. I guess it's rare to find that nowadays. He said hip hop and rap music gives me adrenaline, but negative emotion, so I had to stop listening to it. But I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I had to cut down on a lot of that like type of music too. I spoke on that. I spoke on that on my music channel about how some of that music was like full of like violence and all that. This is why even with myself making music, I always had a conscious effort not making my music so violent or putting any, just making it so negative. I'm not gonna say I'm a perfect person. I'm trying to make everything just so positive, but I just try to incorporate some type of positivity within it. Because a lot of people they rap about guns and violence and this and that. But back then it just seemed more easier to find that stuff. Like the way the music was back then, it had a certain type of frequency to it. I don't know what happened though. This is another reason why I overindulge in certain things. Because it's like it's became so rare to find something that gives you a feeling that when you find it, you just overindulge in it. A lot of people be saying like, don't overindulge in nostalgic stuff. Don't hang on to those feelings or none of that. Like I understand that, but for me, it's like I have no choice but to, because it's like, where else am I gonna get that feeling from? Everything nowadays is just fleeting. He said, I listen to Tupac. Sometimes his music was poetic as fuck. Mm-hmm. Like it's hard for me to not indulge in like nostalgic stuff. Even right now in this moment, I'm watching Toy Story. Of course, it's muted because I'm on live, but I'm watching that again. Cause it's like, what else is really out here? That's why it's one of my main goals to invoke that with any type of content that I put out, especially music. But overall, it just seems like they modernized everything. That's just what it feels like in this world lately. It feels like everything got modernized and it just lost its substance. He said, "Did you ever see Employee of the Month?" Though I think I watched a little bit of it. I couldn't finish the whole thing. He said it came out in 2006. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. And the way that I look at all this stuff, like nostalgia or whatever you want to call it, I don't look at it as just something from the past. I just view it as a certain feeling or something like a certain feeling or emotion that you get from something. So it ain't like I'm trying to be stuck in the past, but I just want to recapture that type of feeling with whatever I do. It may come across as if you're trying to hold on to the past, but you're really just trying to hold on to anything that's pure. Like, and then these algorithms be promoting so much trash and goofiness. So it'd be kind of hard to find anything with that substance in it. It's almost the same thing as like coming across somebody who you relate to. Like it's not gonna be something that's an everyday occurrence that you find something like that. You might find like a YouTube channel that's not popular that resonates with you. All of that type of stuff just happens so randomly. He said, random thought, these anime shows are a perfect example of spiritual energy. Naruto, Chakra, Dragon Ball Z, high energy, Hunter, Hunter. And just random. Yeah, it did. Yeah, those shows did depict that stuff. There were so many hidden gems and Easter eggs within that type of stuff. Like Avatar, that show, there was Easter eggs within that too. It was telling you about chakras and all that. But nowadays, it really seemed like to find something that resonates with you is just so tough to just come across. Like you gotta go out your way to find that stuff. He said there are a lot of people losing their minds on YouTube. I've seen a few. Society is collapsing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff too. I've seen certain tragedies happening lately. I heard about certain people passing away. He said, I knew this lady who was mentally ill. Yeah, you're watching this stuff collapse right in front of your eyes. A lot of people want to avoid it, like it's not going down. But you can blatantly see that there's a difference between how the world is now from back then. It's like everybody just avoids this stuff. Like, I be feeling like I'm the only one who thinks a certain way on these topics. Because it's just so blatant and apparent to me. Like, you can clearly see that nothing is the same. It doesn't hit. Even the state of humanity ain't even the same. Like you said, people losing their minds. Everything just going downhill. Like, I'm still one of those people who remember how things used to be. Not saying I want to be stuck in the past, but I just remember how things were. And I just try to hold on to that. He said rappers get everything in this worldly life and still be miserable. Facts. People be having everything in the world. They be having everything they ever wanted. And they're still not satisfied, or they lose themselves. He said it was chiller back in the day. These old heads see the stuff we speak about happen in front of their eyes, and they still want to argue against it. He said, heck yeah, it's getting crazy. A lot of people in their homes abusing themselves. Bad drugs. hmm That's what I'm saying. Like, everything just feels soulless nowadays. I know I speak on it a lot because a lot of people ain't. I don't really see a lot of people speaking about it. But I can clearly see a difference. Like, it's not just with entertainment, it's with humanity, like, even people. You just sense a difference. Like, everything used to be like vibrant. And like I said before, now it's just all modernized. It's just soulless. It's all just materialistic or over sexualized. Just played out. And a lot of people might say, oh, you're stuck in the past. It's like, it's not me being stuck in the past, it's just life. You're not stuck in the past, but you just know things ain't even normal. That's what everybody chalks everything up to, is like, oh, you're just stuck in the past, so you're just holding on to nostalgia. Yeah, you can kind of make that point, but it's just things being normal. It's just about when things had feeling, when things had depth within it. I don't think it's all about just holding on to the past. You're just seeing how things are now. You can clearly see that it's downhill. He said personal lives got bad. We can see the sick things. He said everything was original back then. People really just expect us to acclimate to all this BS out here just because we're not in the old days. Just because I'm not in the old days don't mean I gotta accept this BS and just be content with it. Like, I can clearly see that this stuff is just trash. And I can't just act blind to it like, oh, everything is just great. He said families back in the day argued less, were happier. Screw the BS. He said there's a whole lot more drama and conflict between people nowadays as well. Just saying. Yep. I know people's gonna say, oh, just get with the times. Everything is supposed to change. Like, I understand that. I understand that things change, but it doesn't mean that it has to change into something that's just way worse, and you're supposed to accept that. They tell you, oh, don't hang on to nostalgia. Okay, so what else am I gonna hang on to? Something from today's generation? Something with no type of depth within it? Something that's just soulless? He said people really expect you to go along with every damn thing nowadays. Facts. Because everybody else acclimated to this BS. Anything that's trending from nowadays, like everybody feels like they gotta acclimate to it. Oh, well, this is what's popping right now. I gotta do this. Like, you're not taking in consideration nothing about this stuff, but just because it's trending, you gotta follow it. You see somebody doing something stupid, getting attention from it. Okay, that's the new wave now. Let me do something stupid. Okay, this is just how the times are. I gotta do this now. Like, that's people's mentality. And then anything that's pure, anything that's genuine is seen as something from the past. Like I said, they chalk it up. They chalk it up to nostalgia. Just because you want something that's pure, you want something that's genuine, it's going to give you some substance. Oh, that's just nostalgia. You're thinking of the past. No, we just want something that's genuine. And then they make that type of stuff seem corny. Anything that's from the past is seen as corny to some people. Oh, you're still doing that? That's corny. Oh, you still listen to that? You still watch that? He said, speaking of nostalgia, my dad press made fun of me for watching old TV shows and movies. People, I don't even understand that. How can you make fun of somebody for watching something from back then? Like, what can you even say to somebody for that? Like, how do you insult somebody for doing that? He said, we just want peace and quiet. Facts. This is why I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna forever watch stuff from my childhood. I'm gonna forever listen to stuff that I grew up on. He said, this is why I avoid getting a job. Yeah, this is why I'll forever watch that stuff that I grew up on. I'm not going to indulge in all this goofy content nowadays. Seeing people make a fool out of themselves for some views. Oh, just get with the times. That's the new wave, bro. This is what's trending, bro. This is what's popping. These are the littest people, man. I don't care how lit they are. Like I don't care about that shit. Oh, this is what's gonna give you views. All that type of stuff is like a childish mentality. I might have used to think that way like growing up when I was younger, like, oh, followers, this and that. Nowadays that stuff doesn't even like I don't even care about that stuff. Who cares about a damn follower? You be seeing these people with these ads like boost your followers, get this. It's like I don't even want that. And it's crazy that there's people out here that view that stuff as the world. Some views or like some followers. People damn near selling their souls for that stuff. And to you it's like it doesn't even do nothing for you. You don't even care about it at all. He said this all crap, these times are sick, negative. Followers mean nothing. Yeah, bro, they expect you to just acclimate to this stuff. Well, everybody else is doing it. Then you start to see people making a fool out of themselves, bro. You see somebody that you grew up watching or you grew up knowing about them, and now you see them, they're making a fool out of themselves. Why? Because this is the new wave. Like, you completely lost yourself just to be a part of a trend. This is why everything got diluted, bro. Because all the people that you grew up either listening to or watching, they was on their own wave. Everything was hitting, and then social media came into play, algorithms. So now they gotta be a follower. Now they lost themselves, trying to be like everybody else. He said, to be honest, these how two tutorials on social media are just showing how the person who made the video, how they got whatever they wanted. Yeah, I don't even pay attention to that stuff. He said the devil's wave. He said it turned evil to damage people in many ways. Yeah, everybody wanted to acclimate to the new wave, the quote unquote new wave. So now they was probably thinking like everything that I was doing back then is lame now. It's corny. I gotta get with the times. And now they're just not even the same. Nobody's saying that you gotta be the exact same that you was years ago, but you can at least hold on to some of those qualities that you had. There's just so many people trying to stay relevant. People expect to be relevant for their whole life. Like, it's normal to have the spotlight for like 5 years. You had your time. They trying to remain relevant so bad, making a fool out of themselves. Oh, I gotta get with the trend. He said, right, kids back in the day would hang out, no cell phones. Yeah, those times are over. I'm glad I had a chance to experience life before social media took off. And I'm glad I grew up without having technology like that. Those were the times when you actually had to have an imagination. Now, social media is people's imagination now. And it seems like the more that you try to stay true to yourself is like the more that you disconnect from a lot of people nowadays. Because you're just not acclimating to none of this stuff out here. You're still your true self. I'm not saying you're the same exact person that you was back then, but you still hold on to those qualities. You still probably have your inner child within you. You still probably create. You still have an imagination. So to most people, you come off as either corny or lame because you're not tainted by this society and this matrix. This matrix didn't fully destroy that light within you. Like, I don't care how it comes across to people. I always have to be the person that I am. And certain things about myself, the qualities that I grew up with, I want to keep them. Even if it comes off as corny to most people, like, it's just me. And I'm not going to change for people. Like, I still want to create. I still want to make content and do this and that. I never got too cool to do this type of stuff. He said people only call us lazy if we don't want to live by society standards, programming, and expectations. Swear. It's like people want you to lose yourself to fit in with these society standards. They want you to completely just lose yourself. They don't want you to be your true self. Not everybody cares about being relevant so bad. Not everybody wants to be a clout chaser. Not everybody wants to do what y'all do. Not everybody wants to put on a facade like they're this and that, like they're a gangster or having to flex constantly to impress people. Like, if that's the life you chose, then that's for you. But for certain people, they don't care about that. It's like everything in this society is like set up to strip your. It's set up to strip your true self from you and turn you like a clone, like everybody else. All your authenticity is just down a drain. This is why most people you see are like the same. It's like a bunch of clones. Because everybody's living up to the same standards. They gotta wear the same chain. They gotta wear the same designer brand. Just a bunch of clones. Then the people who are truly still themselves, they get looked at as the oddballs. Just by being yourself in today's generation, you'll stick out like a sore thumb. That's how much people have turned into clones and just followers. So if you do something that's seen as not quote unquote normal or the same as everybody else, you get looked at the wrong way for it. Meanwhile, all you're really doing is just being yourself. That's literally all you're doing. And people question that, oh, why do you do this? Why is this? The only explanation for it is you're just being yourself. You're doing the things that you want to do. You're living your life based off of how you want to live it, not by what society's telling you. It's really just that simple. People make it seem so complicated. Oh, you think you're this? You're acting. No, bro, you're just being yourself. Oh, why do you do this like that? Why do you make music like that? It's because it's how I want to do it. It's how it's me. It's my own way of doing it. Oh, bro, why don't you want to do this? Cause I'm not a follower. I don't care what other people are doing. People be swearing that you're doing something so out of the ordinary. All just from being your true self. People thinking people are lame and all type of stuff. Oh, this person's a lame. This person's this. When all that person is doing is just being themselves. They're not being a clown.